I have a special place in my heart for these top-down style ambient modular synth videos. I'm sure you know the ones. The soundscapes these artists create are imaginative, meditative, and visually satisfying. And yes, I'm calling out the plant. You know the one. It's on the desk or the background of every single one of these videos. As much as I like to listen to these sound experiments, I like to play with them even more. There's only one problem. Modular synths can get outrageously expensive very quickly. There is something totally addictive and inspiring about this workflow. Having control over every imaginable aspect of the sound in front of you leaves you with the distinct impression that the sky is the limit. And sure, there are totally free online simulators which lets you explore the world of modular synthesis, but those don't fill you with the same sense of wonder that physical knobs, sliders, and patch cables do. Which is why I have a compromise. By using acoustic elements to bolster the void left by these extremely pricey knob boxes, we can maintain the workflow and freedom that the modular form offers us without shelling out this month's rent in half for a decent setup. This is largely what it ends up looking like for me. A few small instruments clustered together, some electronic, some acoustic, all readily available and mic'd. By blending acoustic elements with electronic ones and tying them together with loopers, I can create an organic version of the modular sound playground with all the benefits that this workflow has to offer without the drawbacks of having an empty bank account. Well, it's still empty, but that's beside the point. Most of this stuff isn't even inherently designed for music. The abacus and chopstick for one. The shaker is just a wooden box with salt in it. This is an African oudou drum, except it's not. It's just a terracotta vase I found at a thrift store. Check out this wind chime bell, which when played like this, creates a really neat rhythmic texture. As you probably noticed, the smaller toy piano had its chimes removed, so the only sound it can make are the wood hammers lurching back and forth when you strike the keys. There are a few strategically hidden mics. Thank you, Mr. Plant. This is a sine wave generator and some test equipment that I got secondhand for about $5. And this singing bowl isn't a singing bowl. It's just a decorative $2 bowl that I found with the bass. Honestly, you can pretty much use whatever you have, and with a little bit of work and some experimentation, you can create some pretty unique soundscapes. Workflow strongly influences the music you write. This is partly due to limitations and partly due to features. If your workflow involves nothing but you, an acoustic guitar, and a composition notebook, you're likely to make music that would be typical of a singer-songwriter style. When writing for piano roll, you might, as composer Conlon Nancarrow, feel compelled to exploit the freedom of that medium and create things that no singer-songwriter could ever play, let alone think of. Our workflow gives us license to create, and the features of that workflow deeply influence what we create. If a workflow makes it easy for us to push a particular boundary, we will intuitively push on that boundary. The most popular workflow today for us musicians is quite arguably the DAW. Most of us write, record, and mix all within this digital audio workstation. And most, if not all DAWs, are based around the concept and function of the grid. The grid is great. It allows us to order our projects effectively, make recording a breeze, and most interestingly, allows us to be extremely precise with our notes and rhythms. But DAWs are a workflow and will, like all workflows, have unintended consequences in influencing the music that we produce. It's extremely easy to quantize our music in a DAW. This means that if we mess up a drum part, for example, we can snap the mess-ups to the grid and fix the part. We can also fix pitch and correct botched vocal takes with grid-based auto-tuning software like Melodyne. Some argue that modern audio/production techniques like auto-tune and quantization have ruined music. They sterilize music and take out the soul. Anyone with auto-tune can sound good, and you don't need any talent to make it anymore. I'm not really sure I agree with this. The grid isn't a good thing, and it's not a bad thing. It's a tool, and how you use it determines the quality of your work. But one thing is for sure, since the grid is so ubiquitous and deeply integrated, it's not going away anytime soon. I mean, heck, even instruments created and popularized in the last 10 years physically reflect the look of the grid itself. If that's not saying something psychologically, I don't know what is. It's important to understand and recognize what effect your workflow has on the music you create.